Disciple. What is the highest goal of spiritual experience for man? Maharshi. Self-realization. Disciple. Can a married man realize the self? Maharshi. Certainly. Married or unmarried, a man can realize the self, because that is here and now. If it were not so, but attainable by some effort at some time, and if it were new and had to be acquired, it would not be worth pursuit. Because what is not natural is not permanent either. But what I say is that the self is here and now and alone. Disciple. A salt doll diving into the sea will not be protected by a waterproof coat. This world in which we have to toil day in and day out is like the ocean. Maharshi. Yes. The mind is the waterproof coat. Disciple. So then, one may be engaged in work and, free from desire, keep up one's solitude, but life's duties allow little time to sit in meditation or even to pray. Maharshi. Yes. Work performed with attachment is a shackle, whereas work performed with detachment does not affect the doer. He is, even while working in solitude. To engage in your duty is the true namaskar, and abiding in God is the only true asana. Disciple. Should I not renounce my home? Maharshi. If that had been your destiny, the question would not have arisen. Disciple. Why then did you leave your home in your youth? Maharshi. Nothing happens except by divine dispensation. One's course of conduct in this life is determined by one's prarabdha. Disciple. Is it good to devote all my time to the search for the self? If that is impossible, should I merely keep quiet? Maharshi. If you can keep quiet without engaging in any other pursuit, it is very good. If that cannot be done, where is the use of being quiet so far as realization is concerned? So long as the person is obliged to be active, let him not give up attempts to realize the self. Disciple. Do not one's action affect one in afterbirths? Maharshi. Are you born now? Why do you think of other births? The fact is, there is neither birth nor death. Let him who is born think of death and the palliative thereof. Disciple. Can you show us the dead? Maharshi. Did you know your kinsmen before their birth that you should seek to know them after their death? Disciple. How does a grihastha fare in the scheme of moksha? Should he not necessarily become a mendicant in order to attain liberation? Maharshi. Why do you think you are a grihastha? Similar thoughts that you are a sannyasin will haunt you even if you go out as a sannyasin. Whether you continue in the household or renounce it and go to the forest, your mind haunts you. The ego is the source of thought. It creates the body and the world, and it makes you think of being the grihastha. If you renounce, it will only substitute the thought of sannyasa for that of grihastha, and the environment of the forest for that of the household. But the mental obstacles are always there for you. They even increase greatly in the new surroundings. It is no help to change the environment. The one obstacle is the mind. It must be got over whether in the home or in the forest. If you can do it in the forest, why not in the home? Therefore, why change the environment? Your efforts can be made even now, whatever be the environment. Disciple. Is it possible to enjoy Samadhi while busy in worldly work? Maharshi. The feeling I work is the hindrance. Ask yourself, who works? Remember who you work. Then the work will not bind you, it will go on automatically. Make no effort either to work or to renounce. Your effort is the bondage. What is destined to happen will happen. If you are destined not to work, work cannot be had even if you hunt for it. If you are destined to work, you will not be able to avoid it. You will be forced to engage yourself in it. So, leave it to the higher power. You cannot renounce or retain as you choose. Disciple. Bhagavan said yesterday that while one is engaged in search of God within, outer work would go on automatically. In the life of Sri Chaitanya, it is said that during his lectures to students he was really seeking Krishna, the self within. He forgot all about his body and went on talking of Krishna only. This raises a doubt whether work can safely be left to itself. Should one keep part attention on the physical work? Maharshi, the self is all. Are you apart from the self, or can the work go on without the self? The self is universal. So, all actions will go on whether you strain yourself to be engaged them or not. The work will go on itself. Thus Krishna told Arjuna that he need not trouble to kill the Kauravas. They were already slain by God. It was not for him to resolve to work and worry himself about it, but to allow his own nature to carry out the will of the higher power. Disciple, but the work may suffer if I do not attend to it. Maharshi, attending to the self means attending to the work. Because you identify yourself with the body, you think that work is done by you. But the body and its activities, including that work, are not apart from the self. What does it matter whether you attend to the work or not? Suppose you walk from one place to another. You do not attend to the steps you take. Yet you find yourself after a time at your goal. You see how the business of walking goes on without you attending to it. So also with other kinds of work. Disciple, is it then like sleepwalking? Maharshi, like somnambulism? Quite so. When a child is fast asleep, the mother feeds him. The child eats the food just as well as when he is fully awake, but the next morning he says to the mother, "Mother, I did not take food last night." The mother and others know that he did, but he says that he did not. He was not aware. Still the action had gone on. A traveler in a cart has fallen asleep. The bulls move, stand still, or are unyoked during the journey. He does not know these events, but finds himself in a different place after he wakes up. He has been blissfully ignorant of the occurrences on the way, but the journey has been finished. Similarly with the self of a person. The ever-wakeful self is compared to the traveler's sleep in the cart. The waking state is the moving of the bulls. Samadhi is their standing still, because Samadhi means Jagrat Shushupti, that is to say, the person is aware but not concerned in the action. The bulls are yoked but do not move. Sleep is the unyoking of the bulls, for there is a complete stopping of activity corresponding to the relief of the bulls from the yoke. Or again, take the instance of the cinema. Scenes are projected on the screen in the cinema show, but the moving pictures do not affect or alter the screen. The spectators pay attention to them, not to the screen. They cannot exist apart from the screen, yet the screen is ignored. So also, the self is the screen where the pictures, activities, etc. are seen going on. The man is aware of the latter, but not aware of the essential former. All the same, the world of pictures is not apart from the self. Whether he is aware of the screen or unaware, the actions will continue. Disciple, but there is an operator in the cinema. Maharshi, the cinema show is made out of insentient materials. The lamp, the pictures, the screen, etc. are all insentient, and so they need an operator, the sentient agent. On the other hand, the self is absolute consciousness, and therefore self-contained. There cannot be an operator apart from the self. Disciple, I am not confusing the body with the operator. Rather, I am referring to Krishna's words in the 61st verse, chapter 18 of the Gita. The Lord, O Arjuna, dwells in the heart of every being, and he, by his delusive power, spins round all beings set as if on a machine. Maharshi, the functions of the body involving the need for an operator are born of the mind. Since the body is jada or insentient, a sentient operator is necessary. Because people think that they are jivas, Krishna said that God resides in the heart as the operator of the jivas. In fact, there are no jivas and no operator as it were outside them. The self comprises all. It is the screen, the pictures, the seer, the actors, the operator, the light, the theater, and all else. You're confounding the self with the body and imagining yourself the actor. is like the seer representing himself as an actor in the cinema show. Imagine the actor asking if he can enact a scene without the screen. Such is the case of the man who thinks of his actions apart from the self. Disciple. On the other hand, it is like asking the spectator to act in the cinema picture. So we must learn sleepwalking. Maharshi. Actions and states are according to one's point of view. A crow, an elephant, a snake, each makes use of one's limb for two alternate purposes. With one eye, the crow looks on either side. For the elephant, the trunk serves the purpose of both a hand and a nose, and the serpent sees as well as hears with its eyes. Whether you say that the crow has an eye or eyes, or refer to the trunk of the elephant as hand or nose, or call the eyes of the serpent its ears, it means all the same. Similarly, in the case of the Jnani, sleep-waking or waking sleep or dream sleep or dreaming wakefulness are all much the same thing. Disciple. But we have to deal with a physical body in a physical waking world. If we sleep while work is going on or try to work while we are asleep, the work will go wrong. Maharshi. Sleep is not ignorance, it is one's pure state. Wakefulness is not knowledge, it is ignorance. There is full awareness in sleep and total ignorance in waking. Your real nature covers both and extends beyond. The self is beyond both knowledge and ignorance. Sleep, dream, and waking states are only modes passing before the self. They proceed whether you are aware of them or not. That is the state of the Jnani, in whom pass the states of Samadhi, waking, dream, and deep sleep, like the bulls moving, standing, or being unyoked while the passenger is asleep. These answers are from the point of view of the Ajnani, otherwise such questions would not arise. Disciple. Of course, they cannot arise for the self. Who would be there to ask? But unfortunately, I have not yet realized the self. Maharshi. That is just the obstacle in your way. You must get rid of the idea that you are an Ajnani and have yet to realize the self. You are the self. Was there ever a time when you were not aware of that self? Disciple. So, we must experiment in sleepwalking or in daydreaming? Maharshi laughs. Disciple. I maintain that the physical body of the man immersed in Samadhi as a result of the unbroken contemplation of the self may become motionless for that reason. It may be active or inactive. The mind established in such contemplation will not be affected by the movements of the body or the senses, nor is disturbance of the mind the forerunner of physical activity. Whereas another person asserts that physical activity certainly prevents Samadhi or unbroken contemplation, what is Bhagavan's opinion? You are the abiding proof of my statement. Maharshi. Both of you are right. You refer to Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi and the other refers to Kevala Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In the latter case, the mind lies immersed in the light of the self, whereas the mind lies in the darkness of ignorance in deep sleep, and the subject makes a distinction between Samadhi and activity after waking up from Samadhi. Moreover, activity of the body, of the sight, of the vital forces, and of the mind and the cognizance of objects, all these are obstructions for one who seeks to realize Kevala Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In Sahaja Samadhi, however, the mind has resolved into the self and has been lost. The differences and obstructions mentioned above do not therefore exist here. The activities of such a being are like the feeding of a somnolent boy, perceptible to the onlooker but not to the subject. The traveler sleeping in the moving cart is not aware of the motion of the cart because his mind is sunk in darkness, whereas the Sahaja Jnani remains unaware of his bodily activities because his mind is dead, having been resolved into the ecstasy of Chidananda, bliss of the self. The mind of the sage who has realized the self is wholly destroyed, it is dead, but to the onlooker he may seem to possess a mind just like the layman. Hence the I in the sage has merely an apparent objective reality. In fact, however, it has neither subjective existence nor an objective reality.